Hey everyone, how's it growing? This is Ms Sammy, your garden teacher. Today I'm going to be talking about plant parts, just 6 basic plant parts that almost every plant has and what each part is important for. Alrighty, let's do it. Alright, so the first part I'm going to talk about here on our tomato plants are the roots. Now, the roots are really important for a couple of reasons. The first one is that they help to anchor the plant into the dirt. Because imagine it's a very windy day, you don't want to get blown away, you got to stay stuck in the soil. And the roots help to do that. They kind of grab onto the soil so that they can stay in place even when it's windy. The second thing that the roots do, they suck up water from the soil, and that's how the plant drinks. They don't have a mouth, they can't drink water, right? They need to use their roots to absorb the water from the soil. So here's a plant, and you can see the roots on this plant, they look like this. So everything below my hand was underground. And so this plant was able to drink the water that's inside the ground so that it wasn't thirsty anymore. Alright, so roots. Awesome. Alright, the second part I want to talk about is the stem. This is what the stem looks like. It's the main structure that supports the plant so that it can stand up nice and tall. So the stem on this plant, there's a bunch of them, but here I'll break one off right here. You can see this main structure is the stem of this plant. The stem is really important because not only does it help the plant stand up nice and tall, but it also kind of moves water from the roots all the way up the plant all around. So it kind of acts like a transport system. You can think of it maybe like pipes, how we get water into our house. You turn on the sink and the water flows out, right? Well, the stem is able to bring the water, kind of like a pipe, and put it towards the other parts of the plant. So that's the stem. Alright, the third part I want to talk about are the leaves. Here are a few leaves. The leaves have a super important job, and they kind of feed the plant. So like I said before, plants don't have a mouth to eat or drink with, so they need another way to get their energy. So they do it by stretching their leaves out into the sunlight and gathering the sunlight inside of their leaves. And once it has sunlight, it uses a process called photosynthesis to make food for the plant. So it uses sunlight, water, air, and nutrients from the soil, and it turns them into sugars. And those sugars are made in the leaves. This is kind of like the food factory zone. Okay, those are the leaves. The next part I want to talk about are the flowers. So right here I drew a tomato flower. They're usually yellow. Sorry, I don't have colors. And the flowers are very important for the plant because they attract or they bring in the pollinators. Pollinators are animals such as bees, butterflies, birds, bats, all sorts of animals that like to eat pollen and nectar. So pollen and nectar is found inside the flower. So where that yellow part is where you can find the pollen and nectar. And those serve as rewards for the animals that come and visit because they like to eat them or make honey from them. But the pollen is really important for plants because as it spreads around the garden, it allows fruits to grow on the plant. So flowers are usually beautiful or maybe smell good because it's a way of saying, hey, bees, butterflies, come visit my flower, spread my pollen in the garden, and you will be rewarded with the sweet juice called nectar. So that's the flower's job. Once the pollen has been spread to other flowers, the plant is going to start to make fruit. So over here and over here, I drew a couple tomatoes. These tomatoes only form after the flowers have been visited by animals. So these are the fruits. And the fruit's job is to protect the seeds inside. You might notice all the fruits that you eat have seeds in the middle for the most part. So the fruits act as protection while the seeds are growing inside and developing. So right here is a cross section, basically cut in half of a tomato, and you can see all of the seeds located inside the fruit. Seeds are maybe one of the most important structures on a plant, and that's because they allow for reproduction. So after this plant has lived its full life and it's going to die, it needs a way to be sure that more tomato plants are going to grow next year. And that's where the seeds come in, because those seeds, you can plant them, or maybe they'll be spread around the garden naturally, and those seeds will make new tomato plants next year. So seeds are one of the most important parts. They allow for new plants next year. Okay, so quick review of our 6 basic plant parts. We have the roots down here. Their job is to suck up water and nutrients and to also anchor the plant in the soil. Our stem here transports water and nutrients to other parts of the plant and also allows it to be able to stand up straight and tall. Our leaves here is basically our food factory. It's where the plant is able to convert sunlight, water, and air into food or sugars. The flower right here, its job is to bring in the bees and butterflies to come visit. It has a nice smell or a pretty color to bring them on over so that pollen can spread in the garden and the plant can start making the fruit. The fruit's job is to protect the seeds as the seeds are growing, and the seed's job is to bring new life next year after this plant has died. I challenge you to go find 6 basic plant parts next time you are outside.